It's the year 2002. The Borok swarms are ravaging the island of Matanui, destroying villagers and mind-controlling the Matoran islanders with terrifying Krana. Our heroes the Toa are doing their best to help out, but they have their own problems to deal with. They can't just hang around protecting villagers all day. So, unless the islanders want to spend the rest of their days as mindless drones, they need to take matters into their own hands. Enter the Boxor. It's a kind of battle mech invented by the Matoran, specifically a guy called Nuparu, and it gives the islanders a much-needed weapon in the fight against the Borok invasion. So, I got this set off eBay. It looked in very nice condition, and the price was right, so I chucked in a few bids and managed to win. A few days later, the set arrived, but the seller had sent it in a padded envelope. I couldn't believe it. Who does that? But by some miracle, it managed to make it through the postal system more or less unscathed, with only a couple of minor creases on the box and nothing damaged inside, so it could have been a lot worse. There's some nice artwork on the front, and some information around the back, showing the action feature and the alternate build, back when alternate builds were still a thing. But we're here for the Boxor, not the box. Let's have a look inside. So, we've got Nuparu's mask, which is a Pakari in orange. There's a pair of elastic bands for the action feature, and a few of those elusive Tohunga pieces, the second and last time that we ever see a Tohunga outside the McDonald's promotion. There's a Borok canopy in black, the same as Nuvok, and a Borok headpiece in orange, which is exclusive to this set, and there are a few flex rods for detailing. So, those are all the parts. A quick jump cut should be enough time to get this thing built. And here we go, the Boxor. As you can see, the build incorporates a lot of Borok parts. In the story, the Boxor was cannibalised from the body of a defeated Borok in a last stand by Nuparu and a few other characters to defend the underground village of Onukoro. Specifically, it was built from a Galok, one of the blue Borok. I'm not sure how that explains Gally's hooks being included, or some of the other bits used, but I guess they just had some spares laying around. In the cave that they were trapped in. And it doesn't really explain the change of colour either. Yeah, maybe they painted it, but if they had time to whip out a few paintbrushes and give their invention a flashy new paint job, things can't have been quite as desperate as they wanted us to believe. And for anyone now wondering about the moral and ethical implications of taking the dead bodies of your enemies, hacking them apart, and turning their mutilated remains into battle vehicles, it gets worse. Later on we learn that the Borok were once Matoran themselves, mutated and brainwashed centuries ago. So congratulations Nuparu, you built a war machine out of your dead grandma. And speaking of Nuparu, let's take a closer look at the murderous sociopath, war hero himself. This was the only box set ever to include a Gen 1 Tohunga character, and aside from the power pack, the only way to get one outside the McDonald's promotion. He's got a black body, like the McDonald's Onapu, and dark grey legs, which might sound a bit boring, but when paired with that orange Pakari, it really pops. The instructions have you build him with two disc-throwing arms, which unfortunately means one is upside down. A regular arm is included in the set as part of the Boxor build, and swapping it out really doesn't cause any structural issues. So if his arm bugs you too much, you do have the option of switching things around. As for why there's a severed Matoran arm grafted onto the back of this mutilated Borok corpse, quite frankly, I don't want to know. What happened in that cave stays in that cave. And if you're wondering, no, a disc is not included. Perhaps you already threw it at someone. So to sit Nuparu inside the Boxor, you just need to raise the canopy, like so. Nuparu slots into place, then the canopy drops back down behind him to hold him in position. There's not really anything for him to hold onto, but it's a very snug fit, so he isn't going to fall out. So let's have a look at the action feature that gives the Boxor its name. Both of those arms are connected to the legs by means of some clever gearwork. You can push down on either side to send out a single punch, or down in the middle for a powerful combo. Now, you may recognise the Boxor's colour scheme from one of the sets in Robo Riders, which was one of Bionicle's precursor lines. Specifically, it's this set, the Boss. As you can see, they match up pretty well, so if you wondered what Nuparu was working on before the Boxor, this might be the answer. Unfortunately, there isn't really anywhere for him to sit, so he just has to kind of lay on top. And here's a comparison with the Exo Toa, the counterpart set that fulfills a similar purpose for the larger Toa characters. Both sets are on shelves at the same time, and as you can see, the Exo Toa is much larger, which was reflected in the price point. The two sets share mostly the same colour scheme, although the Exo Toa has some silver accents thrown in as well. And on the subject of silver, well, lots of the Boxor's parts are also available in silver. So if anyone is curious as to what a silver Boxor looks like, here you go! I've left some black in for a little contrast, but if silver really is your thing, it's possible to get even closer to an all-silver Boxor by switching out the main forearms and some other pieces. You can even give Nuparu a silver mask to fit the theme, although the shade of silver used for those 2002 Kanoe is a little bit darker. So that's just about it for this review, although Nuparu's story doesn't end with the Boxor. He would return a few years later as a Toa Inika, and again the following year as a Toa Mari. Sadly, both of these versions lose the orange parts that helped make his original form so recognisable, but his new forms are much, much larger. So much larger in fact that he now towers above his invention, but incredibly he can still fit inside. Well, just about. He looks a little bit uncomfortable, but it's a testament to the posability of the later Bionicle figures that something like this is even close to possible. Anyway, there we have it, a quick review of the Boxor. It's a really nice set, and one that I'm very happy to have in my collection. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear your own Bionicle stories. So click that like, leave a comment, and maybe even think about subscribing to my channel for more Bionicle content. Ta-ta!